Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the April meeting of the School District of Waukesha Board of Education. Sue has, I'll ask you that later. Let's begin, first of all, by saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Everybody have their mics on? Okay. Okay, so would you call the roll, please?
William Baumgart.
Here.
Kurt O'Brien.
Here.
Joseph Como.
Here.
Steve Edlin. Ellen Langell.
Here.
Patricia Madden.
Here.
Patrick McCaffrey.
Here.
Karen Reinacek. And Barbara Brzenk.
Here. And I'd like to, Steve is here. I'd like to verify that the meeting was posted. Sue, can you verify that?
Yes, it was.
Okay, thank you. All right, we're going to begin this evening with bright lights. And we have with us this evening Christina Cook. Christina, are you here? And she's here tonight with the STEM immersion presentation. Welcome, Christina.
Thank you. You can call me Tina. My name is Tina Cook. I'm currently a middle school teacher at the Waukesha STEM Academy Saratoga campus. I've been there for 4 years since the birth of STEM. And I'm here to present a little bit about STEM immersion, a program that I launched last year and recruited some businesses and schools to also take part in this program. So as a teacher and as a facilitator the past 4 years, I have seen the need and the call for community involvement and engagement among our schools as well. And after doing some research the past couple of years on the importance of 21st century skill development, I decided to launch a program called STEM Immersion in our district. And it is through this program that I truly began to see the importance of community relationships and learn what a true partnership is between a business and a school, and most importantly, the impact that it has on kids. So this past year, I recruited 4 schools and 4 businesses locally to become involved in STEM immersion. Flight Academy, STEM Saratoga, STEM Randall, and what was the other? South High School, of course. And then CH2M Hill also was involved, as well as Weldall, SPX, and Mortensen Construction, also willing to take part. So everyone that has taken part the past year has willingly done so. And they were really excited about it too. So I began by setting a vision for the program, what it was and what the responsibilities were. Created a website and set up some site tours during the summer where teachers could go out to the businesses and see exactly what they do. And it is through these schools that a lot of reflection happened and a lot of them began to really see how important partnerships were. So what we saw was businesses were able to bring forth their knowledge and expertise about the skills that kids need to succeed in the workforce. And by workforce, not just career-bound students, but really students who might be interested in a 2-year program or work right after high school. But whatever they decide to do, really getting them set for that and to be successful. And then teachers, of course, bringing their expertise about curriculum, standards, and of course, kids. So partners were present during these projects, and during the summer, partners and teachers got together to create a project. It could be something that was 2 weeks long. It could be something that was 4 months long. And what they did is they really sat down and created a project that integrated 21st century skills and also Common Core standards or next-gen science standards. And they assessed and worked with kids through the entire process. So partners were involved in a lot of the assessments and a lot of the feedback, and a lot of reflection took place after that as well. So through this program, we've seen a lot of success, and I'm hoping to continue it, slow but sure, by continuing to add schools and businesses locally to be involved and sticking to that mission. So I think STEM immersion is a great step in ensuring that all kids are successful no matter what their career path. This evening I invited a couple people who have been a part of the process. Jeffrey Allen and Krista Crowder have been involved with Weldall, and they'll talk just a couple minutes about their experience.
Great.
And then South High School and Mortenson Construction is also here to talk a little bit about their experience as well. Just a couple minutes, and then we have just a video to close.
Great.
Good evening, everyone. We were really excited when Tina approached us to come and talk to you all about our experience with Weldall. We've spoken to the board many times about this experience over the past year and just how impactful it's been for not only our students, but our program. We had the opportunity to work with Weldall on a project that was spanned over a month's period of time. And during that month, our students got the opportunity to actually visit their facility, see what their workflow is like, what it's like to work in a work environment that specializes in manufacturing, and actually provide resources for them and tools for them to improve their business.
Our kids had a pretty amazing time. They were divided up into 4 different groups. They went all the way, they started with engineers and talked about the design of different projects that Weldall gets. Then they went through the production. They were actually out on the floor. They went through all the different buildings. They got to see how the steel and the metal was cut. It was pretty incredible. Then they actually got to weld. They got to put on the welding helmets and weld with the welders that were there. And then they finished off with like a safety presentation, which Weldall felt was really important as well. And then we finished with that, and then our students had 1 month to plan out how Weldall could incorporate iPads into their business. We were told that they wanted to use iPads. They knew that our students were probably a lot more knowledgeable about iPads than they were. So they asked our students to help them make a design of how they can incorporate the iPads in their company.
I think that was one of the best parts about this experience is it wasn't just a field trip. It wasn't just students traveling somewhere and getting that experience. It was then them contributing back to the community. Weldall had a specific task that they asked of us and asked our students to do, our 6th and 7th graders. And they came back that month later, and our 6th and 7th graders had a whole bunch of presentations for them on how they could improve the efficiency of their business using iPad technology. The other piece to that is Weldall got a step in our shoes of figuring out what it was like to be a teacher and to assess students on the work that they were doing. They were all given rubrics, and we coached them on how to use that rubric while students were given the presentations, and they actually assessed all of our groups. So they were filling out the rubrics, they were providing feedback, and that was all given back to our students as part of that process. So it really was a true partnership in that we had equal ownership over everything that was taking on in this program. And we applaud Tina and we thank her for allowing us to be part of this experience. It was amazing, and we're excited to continue on in the years to come.
Great. Thank you.
Waukesha South, and specifically the Engineering Academy, had a chance, and we're lucky enough to work with Mortenson when it came to STEM immersion. And really kind of the first question that we went at was kind of a question that Mr. Baumgart had posed for us, and it was really what's the difference between an engineer that's an introvert and an engineer that's an extrovert. So, Mr. Baumgart, if you could answer that one for us. Because the introvert looks at their own shoes and the extrovert looks at your shoes when they're talking to you. But we were really working on our communication skills with a lot of our engineering students. So we met up with Mortenson and talked a considerable amount with their marketing group. And then we also talked a lot about the calculations that go into raising a crane actually through our engineering statistical analysis. John's going to talk probably more specifics about what we actually did, but it was nothing but positive for our kids. They look forward to having Mortenson come in and really give them some high quality, real life feedback outside of our teachers as well. So a big thanks to Tina for inviting us.
So I'm John Nails with Mortenson Construction. I'm the field operations manager, responsible for all of our construction activities, as well as hiring our field forces, our carpenters, our laborers, our operators, and cement masons, as well as the superintendents and college grads. This program that we started with Tina and everybody is extremely important. I can't stress that enough, that the private sector and the school districts need to come together. We see, as the construction industry, I'll speak for that, there's going to be a deficit of workforce out there. And I think the mantra that everybody has with construction right now is it's dirty, it's unsafe. The kids who drop out of high school are the ones who go into the trades. That's the farthest thing from the truth. I need the critical thinkers. I need the technology. I need the ones who can think on their feet, but also want to use their hands. So this, to me, was a great bridge. It's the stepping stone in the right direction. We're excited to continue this forward. But it also was an opportunity for the teachers and the educators to come in and look underneath our hood and see what's out there so that they can take it back to the classroom. You know, if our educators are in the classroom talking about something that's out in the industry, they need to be able to relate it to what's really happening out there. So Tim and Tina and the rest of the teachers came to us and spent 2 days with us at different times, and they took time out of their summer to come and do that. And I think that it opened their eyes to something that they never seen before. We're using iPads in the field with my carpenters right now. They have to use this to build the buildings. They have to be able to fly through a three-dimensional model to find their dimensions to be able to build it. In the next 10 years, the construction industry is going to see the biggest changes we've ever seen. We need these critical thinkers and these kids right now. But if we don't submerge ourselves into the education system and help educate the next generation, the construction industry dies. The manufacturing dies. We have to get involved. So I highly recommend we continue this, get the community behind this, and let's get going. So, all right?
Okay. Questions?
Oh,
Oh, one more.
I'd like to say the best for last, but
here we go.
exaggeration. I'm Josh Skogman. I'm with Mortensen Construction also. I primarily helped out at Saratoga School. I was involved in the Dream Home project, which consisted of breaking the kids into teams that each team was responsible for putting together a design, putting together the drawings for that design, then putting together an estimate to actually validate that they were within budget. They then had to develop a plan so that they could sell the project to a potential customer. And the last step was putting together a physical model. It was, quite honestly, it was amazing to see what some of these kids came up with, the creativity and just what they did as a team. It was shocking, quite honestly. As far as what the kids got out of it, or what I think the kids got out of it, I didn't, quite honestly, I didn't realize it until towards the end of the project. But at the beginning, I think it was a little overwhelming for a lot of the kids. They said, you know, I don't know how to build a house. There's a lot of stuff to it. It's a big project. I'm not sure where do I start? But by the end, and I actually had one of the students come up to me and say, you know, I didn't know at the beginning how to build a house, but it's not so bad when you break it into the little pieces. Mm-hmm. And for me, that's when kind of the light bulb went on, that it doesn't matter if you're building a house, it doesn't matter what your challenge or your problem is. If you can break it into those little manageable pieces and you can work, you know, put all those puzzle pieces together, that's when you can be successful. And so I hope, I know some of the kids got that out of the project. I would hope all of them would. And just to build on what John was talking a little bit there, you know, from maybe a little bit of a selfish perspective, you know, Mortensen, we need to understand how these kids, how they communicate, how they learn. They are the next workforce. So they're the next generation that's going to be coming into our industry, and we need to understand how we can help them get up to speed and be productive in the least amount of time. You know, shortening up that learning curve is vital. So I want to thank Tina. This was a great experience, and I'm glad that I was a part of it, and looking forward to next year do it again. So, thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone like to ask questions or comments? Oh, there's a slide presentation. Yeah.
She Okay.
Or follow each other, so.
Ben, okay, you guys hear what he said? He said the balloon is either positively charged or negatively charged. And so I still don't understand what was happening when you bring the balloon to it. Go ahead, Sam.
It was going from the balloon into the wire, like it was supposed to be.
So it was jumping across into the wire. All right, other explanations? Something is happening. Ben?
My guess is that as the balloon is negative.
Get his questions, comments, Mr. Baumgart?
Comments, I guess. As you know, I've had the opportunity to be closer involved with some of these things because of my liaison work with the charters. But first of all, I'd like to congratulate Tina on what she's done with this, because having partners to help our kids through some of the problem solving and stuff like that over a continuous period is extremely valuable. And I've had the chance to see some of the benefits of that work while I was at some of those episodes that we saw there. The other thing I think that we have to realize that we're getting out of a program like this, or the various programs. I mentioned, I think it was at the last board meeting, that we're beginning to be recognized as, getting branded as being a pretty good operation here for innovation in the way we're doing our education of our kids. We're doing some different new things. And it's not now just that we're realizing it, but when you think about the fact that we have companies that are coming in and partnering with us, and that they are seeing the way we're doing things, that's having, they're getting a positive impression of what we're doing in the Waukesha School District, which is going to be beneficial to us, I hope, over the long, long range, to see this, the abilities, the capabilities that the kids that are going through our programs, and how we are actually asking businesses, what do you want to see out as a graduate of the Engineering Academy? That's a specific question we're working with over there and at the Health Academy. So if you think about the fact that these people are coming in and observing, not just helping, but observing the quality of our education program, this has got a tremendous payback to us. And Tina, your work is being very well appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Baumgart. Mr. Como?
Thank you, Ms. Brusink. Just kind of curious to get a little bit of feedback from the business folks here with respect to the use of a rubric as a tool. And you had a chance to use it, and kind of just want to see what your reaction, or understand what your reaction is to that as a tool.
rubric was a different format for us, by all means. I think we struggled with it a little bit to understand kind of the format and what was the end goal out of the whole rubric. I think going forward, I think there's definitely a way for us to kind of break through that and make a better partnership. And I mean, I think when Tina gave me that, you know, we kind of sat down and said, okay, I understand what you're trying to do, but how do we fit into that? And working with Waukesha South, that's where we were trying to figure out what avenues of, can we come in and help teach? And that's where we grabbed onto the whole presentation and marketing side, and then also the math side. But that's a new one for us on the business side. Really hard for us to understand it, I guess.
Yeah, it's and I'm in business also, and it's a different tool, and it seems a little clunky sometimes for me, or maybe even sometimes too precise for me. Just kind of depends on what is in that rubric. But I just wanted to see what your reaction was to it, and as a tool. So appreciate that.
No problem.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yeah, you know, years ago when we had some of our darker days, and that was many years ago, thank goodness, I remember the superintendent at the time said, spend some time in the schools if you want to feel good about things. Mm-hmm. And so I really appreciate the video and bringing the schools to the board. And I'm sure you people that are having the opportunity to interface with our schools from the manufacturing side are getting that feel-good environment as well. I think the most important, one of the things that I remember years ago when we were talking about the wealth of nations and how things are done, you can manufacture it, you can grow it, and you can mine it. Well, those are all three pretty major things, but you know what? There's a fourth leg to that. There's education. I think education creates as much wealth and value as manufacturing, growing, and mining. And I think I've always felt we should have a strong partnership as best we can with our employers around town and around the community. And I think it's just it's best for everybody. And I really appreciate the effort our staff, our teachers, our students, and the community is putting into these programs.
Thank you, Mr. O'Brien. Ms. Ryanchek?
Thank you. So thank you to Tina for being this bridge and creating this atmosphere that we can bring the partners in. And I am blessed to have Tina be a teacher for both of my kids. First of all, can you repeat the schools and the businesses? I have both STEMs, the Flight Academy South, was that it? Okay, and then Weldall, Mortensen, and who else? Okay. And then, Weldall, were you able to incorporate, where are you again? Oh, were you able to incorporate any suggestions from the kids on how you could use the iPads?
Unfortunately, Jenny from Weldall couldn't be here, but she has talked to me about how Weldall is incorporating some of the utility functions of the iPad, and they're looking at those features as far as workflow from department to department. And that was one of the things that our students suggested to them, is that they had a lot of paper workflow, and that could be condensed and consolidated with PDFs and using that to transport through departments. So they're currently working on expanding that whole operation within their program, so that's exciting.
Excellent. Thank you, and thank you both for all that you're doing at the Flight Academy. Is there anything we can do as a board to help support this and expand this into more schools and businesses?
Just as far as just your support through this, and if just getting the word out, I think is the biggest obstacle. And you know, the businesses know people and our schools know people too, but it's always the commitment that's the most difficult, is just getting businesses to commit to the time. And it's a great opportunity, but just that commitment and being dedicated to the program. So if you know any businesses or schools out there that would like to get involved, please let us know. We'd love to do that.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Mr. Edlin?
Thank you, Madam President. Tina asked me that question just this last week, so I invited a couple of people in our audience who will speak during the public comment portion tonight from the trade unions that are here. And they were all excited to jump on board about this. And one person I want to recognize out here is Joel Silke. Could you raise your hand, Joel? I didn't know Joel until I was working for my present employer, which I've been there, 14 years now. Joel was a steam fitter there and working on a construction job, and after getting to know him a little bit, we graduated the same year from Milwaukee Tech. We both went to a trade school, which, played out in our careers, very important. And I think all my fellow board members might recall that when I was first on the board, I said, boy, I'd love to have us someday have a Waukesha Tech high school. And that may not happen. We're not a huge community that can support a specialty school like that. But with charter schools and the opportunities that we're having through initiatives that Mr. Crone has brought on board, like the STEM program, it's a modern-day version of Milwaukee Tech. And tech is taking on a whole new meaning as things evolve as fast as they are. I'm sure you'll hear from our speakers. We have a gentleman here tonight from the operating engineers local, which I don't know if ever you drive through the interchange that's being rebuilt. Look at a bulldozer, and you'll notice a stick on the top of it with a little ball on top. That's actually replaced the guy who's out there with a stick and a transit. They're doing grading on elevation through telemetry now. It's something attached to the front of the bulldozer. I mean, we're evolving in the construction field, and I hope they also mention the problem that we're having in getting people even interested in coming into the trades, and the average waiting list, age on the waiting list to get an apprenticeship. I was blown away when I found that out this week.
Really?
For all the people that graduate from high school and are only forced in the direction or encouraged in the direction of college, you're missing out on where the jobs are. You're missing out where the good paying jobs are when you graduate, and you don't pay for the education. You're paid to go to school. You're taking on an apprenticeship where you go to school and you go to a job during the day and work with journeymen, and you actually have a great career opportunity. It's not a job, it's a career. And it's not just, as what was alluded to, as a dirty job that somebody who couldn't get into college has today. No, you have to be sharp in math. You have to be sharp in critical thinking skills. It's very involved, and it's sometimes I kind of chuckle when I realize that people are somewhat demeaning and not meaning to be because you don't have a college education. And when I look at an application, a job application, this job requires a degree in such and such. I didn't go to college, and I ended up just fine in a career. I'm really kind of disappointed that we put so much value in one particular area in our society. So anyway, I encourage these gentlemen to participate tonight and come in the public speaking portion because they're excited to be on board with Tina, and I'm sure Tina's going to be glad to have them on board too. So it's many other opportunities can open up at GE or other community manufacturing partners, and but it's not just that area too. There's also accounting firms in our area, law firms. It doesn't have to be limited to just technical jobs.
Right.
A lot of career opportunities. Thank you.
Mr. Edlin, thank you for the plug for the technical professions. I'm familiar with tech. My brother went to tech, and I'm, from suburban Milwaukee, and I know the kind of education that you got there, and it made you really very, very ready for the work world. Do you know if today's kids coming out of Bradley Tech, if that's what it's called today in Milwaukee, do they have a different background that makes them more ready to work, or is it similar to what you did, or what is it?
I really can't answer that.
I can't either.
Because I don't have any experience with Bradley Tech. We had one reunion since I've graduated from high school. It was our 30th graduation. I don't know, were you there at all? No? Somebody coordinated this. We had a rather large graduating class, and the year, I don't know, it was a couple years before I entered there. I didn't go there as a freshman, as a sophomore. They had just changed the name from Boys Tech because it was an all-boys school. And I think there was probably 15 girls in our graduating class maybe, and probably about 500 or 600 guys. So it was quite a change to have, girls at the school. And eventually, I think it ended up being even because my supervisor, his wife went to tech, and she said at that time it was about 50-50. But I can't answer the question on whether it's
Okay.
changed or not. It is,
I wondered.
I mean, they've torn the old school down.
Yes.
It's much smaller than what it was. Of course, we lost our industrial base in this country, you know, back in the 80s when we had a great recession, I'll call it. And that really stifled people wanting to get into the manufacturing environment. They were afraid to. And everybody at that time, I believe that's when the real push was to go to college. Now, Milwaukee Tech was also a college prep school for those who were going to go that route. So I don't know about today.
Well, I just remember that the kids that would graduate from tech really came out of that school ready to go to work in various fields, and that was the wonderful thing. And then we got away from that for a while. As you said, society, you know, overemphasized, you know, college, and that's really, really not for everyone. But, you know, people like yourself that got into the trades and were very successful, and you know, when I had an opportunity to work closely with a lot of the service building people that are tradesmen, and, you know, they just have amazing skills that those of us that did go to college don't have, you know, hands-on things that, you know, and highly technical things. So thank you for the plug. I really deserve that. Yes.
Right now, we are piloting a program with Bradley Tech at Freighter Hospital.
Oh, great.
That I highly recommend if you guys get a chance to, you can Google it, you can pull it up. It has gotten all the way to the state education level. It was started last year. Freighter Hospital wanted to do some outreach with the community, and so Freighter Hospital, Cannon Design, who's the architect firm, and Mortensen teamed up. We're doing a large expansion to Freighter Hospital right now.
I saw it. Yeah.
And so Bradley Tech hand-selected 25 students at the sophomore level, and they're, part of their curriculum every month is to come to the job site, and they are hands-on for the next 3 years. So they're in the second year already, and they are getting exposed to the healthcare side, to the design side, to the construction side. And these kids have seen an array of different sides of the industry, from archaeology, because at that hospital site, there was an old potter's graveyard that had to be exhumed. So these kids got to go from archaeology to see healthcare, to design, to the point of, the operating engineer will love to hear this, is the dirt work contractor allowed one of the students to get into the backhoes, and she got to operate a backhoe. So this is a big deal. This is a program that I've talked about at the governance board for Waukesha South, of something we need to, again, take this forward, not just with Bradley Tech, but again, it's going to take the private sector and the public sector to work together. But these kids being able to be there hands-on. We have a great video that shows these kids excited about it, saying having us in the field, seeing it firsthand, is a lot better than a teacher telling us in a classroom with a video. So we've got to somehow keep pushing this forward.
Do you think that, you know, the direction that we're taking will produce students that are ready to go into the work world, such as yours?
I think so. I mean, I think it's going to open up their eyes to see what they really need to do to be successful, and also put that bridge together of what they're learning today in the classroom really does apply out here. I mean, we were all there at one point sitting in the classroom and we're getting taught some math equation. We're like, okay, what's this mean? But when you can see it working firsthand, it makes sense. And when the kids are seeing this out there, and when somebody can pull up and show them, here, look at what I'm doing with this, and this is where it applies, I think that's where it clicks.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank all of you for your interest and your willingness to support these learners. It's something that they'll carry with them the rest of their lives, so thank you very much. Yes, Dr. Langell.
Thank you. I just wanted to add briefly, because I think it's a very positive thing that's changed, and it speaks to Steve's point, but you know, it used to be Milwaukee Area Technical School and Waukesha County Technical School.
Yes.
And now I think the fact that this is, you know, MATC and WCTC, it just shows that I think our society is moving in a good direction, which is advanced education and technical skills is every bit as valuable as advanced education in, you know, in French or something. And I think that that's a really good trend that's happening in this country in the last maybe decade or two. So, real positive.
Thank you. Yes, Mr.
I'm
Edlin.
sorry, Tina, that I wasn't here for your presentation. Did you have a chance to talk about the class that you and Brian went to? Would you come up here and just share your experience for a day with that? This was a chance to get the educators into a technical class so that they could learn about the thermal energy lab to be able to teach some of the processes from a technical standpoint. So,
Yeah, just real briefly, my teaching partner, Brian Brookins, and I attended a class, I think it was in Brookfield or West Dallas area, Brookfield area, regarding the thermal energy lab grant that we wrote last year. And so we started off real slow. We weren't really sure how we were going to use this because we didn't understand a lot of the math and science behind it and all the other application pieces. So we talked to Steve and we talked to Jim Murray about it, that the teachers needed to know more about it as well, and so that we could teach the kids and help them to apply that as well. So Steve was nice enough to set up a class for us, and we really, it brought it down to a level where we could understand it, which was really important. And so we learned a lot about the steam and how really the thermal energy lab works and the parts of the thermal energy lab. And so right now we're really working on, and again, it was very much at a level at which we could understand and that we could teach students, because we weren't able to do that before. So we are now working on some curriculum this summer. Brian's currently teaching a class on energy right now. So he'll be taking the students in there to really show them the parts, to apply some math behind that, as well as some of the math teachers have also got on board with that as well. And teach them the conversions and latent heat and all those really good vocabulary terms we learned. And really bring students in to see the application of it. And it's really interesting because it used to be the custodian's office. And so when we converted it to a thermal energy lab, we really began to see how we could use our learning spaces in different ways. So we're really looking forward to building some curriculum around that and using it more often.
yeah,
So.
thank you.
Thank you, Tina.
And that's the important part is, in my opinion, is to allow our educators to have opportunities in these businesses to see the applications of what they're teaching in an enlightened view of how it's going to be used down the future in careers.
Sure.
And I think it's more engaging when you actually are able to experience it.
I'd like to ask Ms. Hemstrom, our HR director, do we have a hard time or an easy time finding tech ed teachers?
There's not enough tech ed teachers to go around for the whole state.
Interesting. So,
They graduate them in single and double digits each year.
wow.
And I think we hired 6 2 years ago, and we probably hired 4 last year. And we'll have a posting for 1 this year.
So we're lucky to have got them.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, Tina. Thank you very much for all that you're doing on behalf of our students and helping them to have experiences that weren't otherwise possible. So thank you very, very much. Okay, moving along then, recognitions. We have no recognitions tonight. And next is our report by student representatives. It looks like tonight we have our student representatives. All 3 high schools were supposed to be here tonight, but I'm assuming that, it's the end of the school year, there's a lot of things. Are they here? Oh, they are all here. Okay. Thank you very much. I guess I didn't recognize them. All right. We have representatives then from all 3 high schools. For the final reports of the year, we have Adam Kuhal and Maura Flanagan from North. Let's begin with you two, and then we'll move on to the others.
Okay, great. Well, good evening, everyone. This may not be as
Charming.
interesting as the last presentation. I saw you guys were really, really interested in, as charter schools is the new future for schools. It is great to be back. It's been 3 years now. It's kind of crazy for 3 years. Moving along, I was just talking to Miss Ettinger. She had me as secretary in middle school, and now, so it's been 6 years, I guess 6 years with her. We have some exciting things to share with you, and I'll pass it on to Maura to start out.
First things first, this week at North is our 2nd annual Empowerment Week. Empowerment Week is to raise awareness of how our words and actions affect others, and ultimately, we hope to create a safe and positive environment for everyone at North. So we have planned various activities to raise awareness and educate students and staff on the effects of bullying. And we're using the campaign theme of Tell Your Story. Some of the events that we have are including a school-wide assembly that we had on Monday, led by Connor Manning. And then we had TED Talk Tuesday last night, which was an evening of inspiration. It was a public interactive presentation of empowering TED Talks. And on tomorrow night at 7, we're having a public poetry slam in which students are going to be presenting their poems around the theme, Tell Your Story. Students also have the opportunity to share their stories through drawing or words on our graffiti wall that we have hanging in one of our hallways. Friday, we have a Purple Peace Walk, which leads into Across the Line. And our students and staff are encouraged to wear purple to show their support for anti-bullying efforts. And the Across the Line and Purple Peace Walk are going to have nearly 500 students participating in it.
Wow.
And to participate in the Purple Peace Walk, we have bracelets that we are selling, and all the proceeds go to the Sparky Fund for North Families in Need, and we brought some for you guys today.
So Maura's gonna pass that out for all of you guys. I know not everyone's a big North fan. That's okay, but you guys can still, there can still be peace in the Purple Palace. So while she is passing that out, I just want to show you guys about a new exciting group that North is starting, kind of similar to the successful group Miss Landis started 4 years ago, like the Principal's Advisory Council. The Athletic Advisory Council, a leadership group run by Mr. Brian Schley, the athletic director, recently sent representatives to the Life of an Athlete program to learn more about healthy decision-making. Topics included sleep, nutrition, fitness, leadership, and staying drug and alcohol-free. We are really excited about them coming to North and bringing some of the ideas that they learned at this program and introducing new initiatives at North. Now to talk about sports. While the spring season has just started, thank God, I mean, it was 60 degrees today, so I was in shorts and everything. Soccer is off to a great start with a 2-2 record and outscoring all of our opponents so far with 8-4. Track and field has also been very successful in their indoor season, and we have really good participation for both the boys and girls this year.
So now we're going to talk about boys tennis. Boys tennis has also had their highest numbers in recent years with 54 boys on the team. This past weekend, they came home with a second-place finish at the Hartford Invite and celebrated on Sunday with their 4th annual Purple and White competition. This event is an event that places boys on one of the 2 teams and has them compete all day in various sports activities that ends with either the purple or the white team winning. The team has a tough schedule this year, but we are expecting to do well with both in conference and non-conference matches and tournaments. Now we're going to look back on our winter sports. The Classic A Conference recently recognized both our boys and our girls basketball teams with outstanding sportsmanship awards. We are very appreciative to be awarded with this achievement.
So now moving on from sports and talk about some of the activities and clubs at North. We do have some exciting results to share about the FBLA state competition. I don't know, this is kind of awkward, but like congratulations to all the FBLA competitors who compete, who will be going on and advancing to nationals in Nashville, Tennessee, June 29th to July 2nd. I myself got first place in job interview, so I will have the opportunity to go on to nationals. I was able to beat out 21 other people.
Wow.
Also, congratulations to Tyler Tessman and CJ Kahala for their first place in network design, as well as Danica Molina for her 3rd place in business financial plan. This is the first year for our advisor, Diane Voigt, to ever send 4 people to nationals. So we're really excited and excited to show the North Star pride in representing FBLA.
And we also have some updates on our turf field. We are really excited to be continuing to work towards reaching our goals. Under the guidance of Mr. Schley and the business department, business students are leading in an in-school fundraiser. It's a competition between the grade levels to see who can raise the most money, as well as contacting local businesses for support of the project. This will be a long process, but we are really looking forward to its success.
Especially for all 3 schools. I think we're all looking forward to having a turf field by next year. Last weekend, students from Waukesha North, Waukesha South, and Waukesha West, as well as Kettle Moraine High School, hosted the 2nd annual Strut Your Stuff charity fashion show. After over 400 hours put in by over 120 students, I am pleased to announce that we've collected over 6,500 articles of clothing for the Salvation Army Rescue House, as well as raising over $4,000 from students, faculty who helped out, as well as several business sponsors that contributed. This was a really successful event, much better than we had last year, and it was really cool to see all of these high schools come together and collaborate on such an awesome project. As North continues their push towards personalized learning and one-to-one, we have continuously been able to host school visitors to see North's journey. This month, we've had people from across the country, including staff and faculty from the Elbrook schools, Sussex, and even staff and faculty from the state of Kentucky, to see the student-centered learning happening at North. I personally have had the chance to take some of the staff around on the tours, and it's really cool to see other schools taking that leap towards one-to-one learning. Obviously, it's going to be a very long process, but we're really excited to see it move along.
And also talking about some clubs, we have an upcoming play at North, the 12 Angry Jurors. I know most of you probably know the movie 12 Angry Men. This is that, but the co-ed version of it, so we can include some of our female students. This play will take place on May 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. The 9th will be a matinee at 2, and the other nights will be at 7. And since I can summarize the play, it's about a guy who is convicted of a murder, and a jury needs to come up with a verdict. All but one think that he's guilty, but they need to come up all together. They all need to agree in order to prove that he's guilty. So one person can make all the difference. And this year we're also holding the first annual end of the year celebration in this is May. It's an initiative taken by the administration to highlight students with excellent attendance and punctuality. Some of the exciting things that are going to be happening include some faculty and staff volunteering to go into the dunk tank, the opportunity for them to buy lunch for students, to sing karaoke, and many more fun activities to encourage students to focus on their attendance.
Mr. Gray, we're going to see you in that dunk tank?
Absolutely.
Absolutely? Okay.
With the suit on.
With the suit on? Okay, we'll make sure to send you the details.
Okay.
Swimsuit.
We'll all be there. That's what I'm afraid of.
Okay, well that is all we have for you tonight. Once again, thank you guys very much for supporting North and allowing me to speak here for the last 3 years. It's been very exciting, and hope to see where the rest of the future takes North and all of us.
Well,
Anyone
thank
have any
you.
questions?
Thank you, North High School students. We've really enjoyed your sharing your activities with us and keeping us informed of what's going on in our high school. You've been a great group. And best wishes to you, Adam. I know you're graduating, and best wishes to you, number 1 at Nationals.
Thank you.
I'm very proud of you, and I'm not surprised. You've got yourself involved in a lot of things in the community, and best wishes on your graduation, and I understand you're going to Marquette.
Yes,
Way
so
to
I'm
go.
committed to Marquette. I know there's a lot of graduates from Marquette, so yeah, and people of kids that went to Marquette. So I'm really excited. I'll be studying international business and finance.
Great choice for you, Adam. Best wishes to you. Stay in touch with us. I'd be interested in knowing what you're going to be doing 5 years from now, because we've had fun watching you grow. So thank you very much, and thank you, Maura. We'll see you maybe next year.
Yep.
Right, okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see, we have Nikita Chawla from West. Nikita, you here? Hi, come on up to the podium. And let's see, Anyan Redinger. Oh, that's from South. Well, then we just have one from West, no, two.
Oh, I'm Sarah. Came too.
Pardon me?
I'm Sarah. Sarah
Oh,
Giordano.
Okay,
And I'll
oh, yeah,
pass
Sarah
the
Giordano.
introduction to this. Well, we did not come nearly as prepared, I guess, as North, but amidst all the excitement that's going on for spring break and prom and the anxiety for AP exams, our students are staying very involved at West. In fact, just today we honored the Autism Day by having students have the opportunity to get blue ribbons in their hair at lunch to honor that. We also have an ice cream social after school today for the freshmen. We do a lot with our Ignition program to involve them to make sure they feel welcome here in their first year. Apart from that, some of the other things that are going on, our concert choir sang the national anthem at the Brewers game last week. Our robotics team, which is actually South and North and West combined, they competed in Milwaukee and they advanced to the competition in Chicago. So that was pretty cool. Our auto class had 4 students invited to a auto competition at WCTC.
March and April have kind of been the months of competitions for all the high schools. There was recently the academic decathlon competition, and West placed second overall there. Actually, Nikita got second individually in the state for her work at the competition. And with their scores, they will be moving on to nationals in Hawaii in 2 weeks.
Oh, my.
That's tough.
It's like another spring break for us. We're excited.
There was also a DECA competition, and we have 4 national qualifiers for that. Madeline Jelassic, Ben Carnuth, Logan Godfrey, and Brad Krippendorf all made nationals. So they will be moving on to that stage of the competition. There was also the National Scholastic Art Awards this past month, and we have 2 students who actually moved on to the national level and will be honored at an award ceremony at Carnegie Hall in New York.
Wow.
So Guillermo Martinez won a silver medal for his work in photography, and Eric Kleffner won a gold medal for his mixed media drawings. Key Club also had a competition. There was a district convention in March at which they won Best Website Award and Best Digital Poster Award. And this competition is throughout the entire state of Wisconsin and Upper Michigan, so it was kind of impressive that they won 2 things there. Additionally, a member, Michael Behrens, won the Michael Brookwicki Memorial Scholarship at this competition, and a student, I think a junior, McKenna Melky, won election to district office as Lieutenant Governor for District 9.
That's it?
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, and
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
thank you for keeping us informed all year about the wonderful things going on at West. And are you going to be back next year? Are you 2 graduating, or what's your status?
We're both seniors, so we're graduating.
Okay, all right, thank you very much.
Next year, what are you doing?
Yep, where are you going?
I will most likely be at Madison doing biomedical engineering,
Wow,
and I'm still undecided. I'm still visiting school, so.
great. Okay, and next we have Anyan Redinger and Ricardo Contreras from South High School. Come forward. Welcome.
Hello. We're very thankful and privileged that you invited us here tonight to speak to you. And so we're glad that you accept that we're saving the best for last. So we'd like to contest that point to you.
And the competition continues.
You've heard a lot about what the engineering department at South is doing with their STEM version program. So we're going to share some of the other things that are going on in South High School. So once again, I'm Anyan Redinger.
I'm Ricardo Contreras, and I've actually been really excited about coming here today because actually just yesterday we got back from the HOSA competition, and for a lot of you guys that don't know what HOSA stands for, is the Health Occupation Students of America, and South actually had the biggest chapter at the competition with over 60 students.
Wow.
And we actually did really good. We are taking 37 students, which is over half of them placed at state, and 26 of them will be moving on to nationals in Orlando, Florida. And I personally placed in prepared speaking, so that was just a really neat experience. And so I took 5th out of, I think it was 67 kids.
Wow.
Out of the whole state. And actually that one was actually a really neat experience because they had 2 big screens like in the stage, and it just had the name of the student and the school they represented. So the top 4 out of the top 5 students, all from Waukesha. So we sweep that event. And
Wow.
yeah, it was a very neat thing to do. Also, there was the FBLA competition, which South also had much success in. We're taking 3 students to nationals in Nashville, so in accounting and entrepreneurship. So that was something really excited again that South was able to bring home.
So besides in the business area and HOSA, we're also looking at our music programs. And so last night, choir and orchestra programs both performed in our annual Masterworks concert, which is kind of a compilation of classical music from both modern and traditional classical music. So we performed this year a lot of repertoire, ranging from Haydn's Missa Brevis to all the way to a modern Songs of Sanctuary, which is written by Carl Jenkins, which is more like an African tribal piece. So more than over 120 students performed with both the full orchestra and choir programs performing together. And it was a special concert because it helped move Mr. Jason Brinker, our choir director, closer to his master's degree, as that was his master's recital. So it was an honor for us to be part of his recital as well as perform in it. So that's something very exciting. And then another musical note for the community in general, all of the Waukesha area schools, including Kettle Moraine and some farther schools, were able to perform in Waukesha Idol, which happened a few weeks back. And I actually performed in it myself, and I got to see Miss Rajanasek there, and I took third in the competition for high school, so that was very exciting on the music side.
About a couple, I don't know if you guys read the newspaper, but I don't know if you guys, about a week ago, noticed a spiffy-looking guy in the front cover, and that was me. And it was actually due to the senior versus faculty basketball game. I was one of the coaches, yeah, with the students. So there I was with my jorts and nice tie and shirt. It was actually a really neat experience, just being like courtside with the students, and obviously the students won in overtime with a three-point shot from one of our students. So it was really exciting.
Staff can really put up with our students. They're pretty
Yeah.
well, so that's good.
So yeah, we won by 2 points, and not just like the competition, but this also exemplifies like just what we've talked about in previous meetings before with the Black Shirt Way, because to actually play in the senior versus faculty game, you needed to turn in your Black Shirt bucks, and then there was a drawing, and obviously the Black Shirt bucks you earn by doing showing how you're respectful, ready, and responsible around South. So that was a fun experience. And also tennis did good today. Beat West 7-0. So yeah, just thought I'd throw that in there. Oh, also very important thing, and just another proud thing that I am about our school is this month of April is Dave Roosh month. And
Dave Roosh is a football coach, wrestling coach. He's very active in the sports at South High School.
So obviously, we are supporting him in his fight against prostate cancer. And if you guys don't know, prostate cancer is the second most common type of cancer among men after skin cancer. But yeah, we are doing numerous fundraisers for him and like in his name. So we're like we're raising money like through penny drives for the prostate center at the Waukesha Memorial, and then half of the money is going there, and then half of the money is going to the Fields for Dreams project.
Okay.
So
Yeah, so
that's
some of
something
the
interesting.
things that we're doing while doing this whole month is we're having a penny drive right now. What we're doing is students compete against the grades by inserting pennies into their jars, and if you add silver coins or dollars, you're demoted points for that. So the more pennies you have, the more you want. And you want to take your silver coins and dollars and put them in the other grades so that they lose. And all the proceeds obviously go to all the good causes. So that's one of the things we're doing.
What
We're also having a
fun. I'm
t-shirt
going
sale,
back to high school.
as well as a bracelet sale before and after school during lunches. And we'll be having a root beer float sale, as well as our spirit days that we're dressing up for too.
And also the class, like either freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior that wins, they will get like a free root beer float at lunch. And we have the spirit dress-up days. We've had all this week. We've had like dress like a gym teacher day, football day. So obviously in honor of our coach Rouge. And tomorrow I think we have beach day. So this is just like an ending Friday with light blue day. And actually we were selling shirts with like the whole message that we're trying to cross, just like supporting him. So if you guys are interested in buying one, you can contact like
The activities office.
yeah, the
Jody
activities
Miller.
office.
So if you're interested in buying a ticket to, or buying a t-shirt to support Dave Rouge and our funds for prostate cancer, that's how you can do that. So other thing is today across Waukesha, I'm fairly certain all high schools participated in Academic Focus Day. And so one of the exciting things that happened at South High School, as well as others, is that freshmen and sophomores came this morning and were able to take their Plan and Explore tests, which are kind of like mini ACT tests, as you all know. And so that's a good thing for South is that it really points out the areas that students are excelling in, and it prepares them for the real ACT test when they take their juniors and senior year. And also we are noticing that more and more teachers are focusing on ACT skills and strategies in their classroom, like for instance using the Wicker system, which is writing, inquiry, collaboration, and reading. And so some of the places that I've noticed that in my own classes is that in my entrepreneurship class, we spend a lot of time reading from a business book that has been written by one of our teachers, business friends who's actually gone out and been successful in exactly what we're studying right now in entrepreneurship. And so we spend a lot of time reading, and then we fill out questions, and we get into small groups and discuss what's going on. So we really do engage in that Wicker system. As well as in our physics class last year when I took physics, we spent a lot of time working on our ACT skills. by doing reading passages and being able to figure out our deep thinking concepts and whatnot, which is what you work on when you're in the ACT test format. So as far as that, today was extremely successful for those freshmen and sophomores, and we can't wait to get those reports back. So on another note, Waukesha Allen, one of our top seniors at South High School in the AVID program, was recently picked to be the speaker at the national speaker for the AVID convention. And she is speaking about exactly what AVID means to her and how important it's been changing her high school experience and what it means to be a student in the AVID program at a high school. So that's an extremely tremendous opportunity for a South High School student to be able to be picked, first of all, and then to speak in front of I don't even know how many, 1,500 educators, so not just students, but educators, seeing exactly what the AVID program does for students at Waukesha South High School. So we are more than overjoyed by the opportunity that she has to represent us. And then also some new things that were released today. Washington Post has just ranked South High School as the 19th most challenging school in the state. So you can look to us for more good things to come in the future. But also on the AP test front, we also have some new things going on this year with that.
Yeah, this year we actually have the most AP tests at South. We have the most AP test registrations than ever before, just in the history of South, with over 600 students registering for AP test.
So that's a huge influx from last year. We actually have students who are going to be taking AP tests on the stage at South High School because they don't fit in the library or room 106 anymore. So that's extremely exciting to see that students are taking an initiative in college preparation.
Wow.
So that's about all we have for you, but we do have one reminder for tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow we actually have the blood drive. So if you guys are over 16, you guys can donate blood.
Not yet.
And if you're not, make sure
yet.
you get your parents' permission. But make sure to come. We'll be done by probably around 1, so make sure you come before then.
So anytime from the morning till then, you can just walk right up through the school into the gym. We're having it in the field house, and you can help support the community. So we're really glad that you invited us to come tonight, as well as other high schools. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. Very, very, very well presented, entertaining. Got a lot of wonderful things going on at South. And there's a gentleman in the back of the audience there smiling from ear to ear. That's your principal, right? He's very, very proud of you and has certainly helped all these wonderful things to happen at South. So thank you so much and congratulations on your outstanding things that you have accomplished at the HOSA convention, and thank you for sharing all the wonderful things going on at South.
Thank you.
Good job. Either of you graduating this year?
Yeah, we both are, actually.
Okay, what are you going to do after graduation?
I'm heading to Waukesha next year for 2 years, and I'm transferring to Whitewater
Good.
for music and business. I'm double majoring.
Very good. How about you, Ricardo?
I will be attending the UW Milwaukee,
Okay.
and my major, it's kind of complicated. Because it started off as accounting, that I wanted to do accounting, but right now I'm pretty decided on kinesiology, and then the long run goal obviously to be a physical therapist.
Oh, okay.
Cool stuff.
Okay. So kinesiology probably would
Yeah.
be a good way to get there, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, very good. Thank you very, very
you so
much.
much.
Any questions or comments anyone would like to make?
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you so much. Wonderful report. Okay. Moving forward, then we have the citizen speakers. So we're at the section of the meeting where there's an opportunity for citizens to speak. As has been past practice, each individual will be limited to 2 or 3 minutes time to speak in order for us to hear from our community. And then we're going to get on with the agenda of the meeting. And I'm going to ask Mr. Como if you'll please watch the time and signal you when it gets to be 2.5 minutes, okay? We expect that the audience will be respectful of the speaker and of the Board of Education and refrain from responding with verbal comments, cheering, applause, or other behavior that will detract from the meeting. Also, in order to respect our speakers and meeting participants, please silence your cell phones. Our first speaker will be, let's see, number 1 is Mike Irvin. Mike, would you like to come up to the podium, please? Followed by Joe Zilke.
Hello, I'm Mike Irvin. I'm a representative with the operating engineers, also backing Tina's STEM immersion program. I just want to say a few things. I myself was one of those that didn't know what to do when I got out of high school. I ended up going to college for a few years because that's what they say you're supposed to do. I then had the opportunity to get an apprenticeship with the operating engineers, and I haven't looked back. I'm very proud to be part of this, and I think I feel real passionate about the fact that there are some kids out there that want to try another option. I know a lot of times it's your tech schools, your colleges, your military. Myself and the other trades, I believe firmly that the trades is a good option. And like Mr. Edlin had talked about, the way things are changing with the dozers, that's a GPS system that, like he's referring to, where you can minimize some of the labor and have these, they're called TopCom systems, sitting right on top, and it's GPS in order to run their grades, and they basically, there's a machine in there that tells them up, down, left, right, what have you. But again, I was at the WTEA conference, I think it was back in March or February at Chula Vista, and I'm starting to get a lot of teachers that are calling us to come talk to their students with the interest of getting into the trades. And like I said, I feel real passionate about it, and I'm glad to be able to do so. I worked for about 17 years as a crane operator, and 7 months ago I got the privilege to work on staff with the school, and I'm really proud of it. And again, I think it's a good option for these kids if they don't want to go to college or the military, what have you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being here. Okay, number 2. Joe?
Hi, so yes, I'm Joel Zelke, and as Steve mentioned, we went to Tech High School together. I think he was way, way older than me. He graduated way before me. So I'm also a resident of Waukesha, my wife and I both. We don't have kids, but we paid taxes all these years, and we fully understand what the reason is behind property taxes and funding the schools, and what that all means for our future and you know, the generations behind us. I also am a member of Steam Fitter 601. I'm the financial secretary, and I sit on the Joint Apprenticeship Committee for a couple of our different apprenticeship committees. I want to just tell you this. While we don't have kids, we've got a subdivision full of them. And my wife and I have a wooded lot that looks way out to the west. We're up on a hill. And these kids have always loved coming into the woods, exploring the woods, and starting to build forts. And then they do little tree forts and all that. And the parents, inevitably, they come over and go, oh my God, you know, what these kids, you know, is that all right if they're doing this? And it's like, yes, because I'll tell you what, these kids are using their minds. They're building something, they're doing something. They're not sitting inside your house watching TV and playing video games. They're using their minds. They love it. They come in the woods and build these great little tree forts. I help them with it, and invariably they look in my garage and go, well, Joel, what's all that stuff in there? I got tools and things from the steam fitting trade. And what's a steam fitter? Okay, well, we're the people, when Steve hit the buttons on the thermostat before to cool off the room, that's a steam fitter. When you guys, the natural gas that comes out of wells and gets refined and processed and comes to your house and heats your house this rotten winter that we had, steam fitters do that piping all the way from the wellhead to your house. We do the things, we all have to eat. We do the things in the grocery stores to cool off the milk. We keep the meat fresh. We keep the ice cream frozen. That's all part of it. That's all very high-tech, computerized, precise things that you just cannot goof up on. This is really amazing work that these guys do in these grocery stores. We do when the power plants got built down in Oak Creek, to put these lights on for you tonight, steam fitters do all that work. They build that giant machine
30
that
seconds.
ends up producing the steam that powers the turbine that makes this electricity. So we do that. It's quite the trade. It's something that's so varied. There's so much to it. A person would never learn it all, and they would never get bored by it. There's always another facet to it to learn. If you say, oh, shit, boy, I'm great. I'm the best welder there is. Then learn about the grocery stores. You know, you'll never get bored. So anyhow, obviously, we need the best people.
Time.
Okay, I'm sorry, we need the best people, and you guys, these kids here tonight, they look like they would be what we need. Just a little comment, you had asked about Tech High School, and I'm gonna give you, maybe not the politically correct, but I've been down there. I'm a graduate, I've talked to the teachers. It isn't working, what they're doing down there.
Really?
So please don't do that here in Waukesha. Get these kids that were in here tonight and others the opportunity with these trades. Make the commitment, like Tina said, to that program, to the STEM immersion, and whatever she needs, double her budget, triple her budget, because these kids start out, honest to God, $30,000 a year, first year
Really?
apprentice, and a lot of guys are making well in advance of 100,000. So
Wow.
it's a good trade.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joe. All right, number 3, Paul Reese. Paul?
Hi, I'm Paul Reese. One more time. Last month, there was talk here about, a lot of talk about amendments being made to something coming out, and I understand that a governing board needs to make amendments to things in order to govern. I truly get that, and I'm getting a little ahead of myself. First, I'd like to, I'm gonna talk about the raise that this school board gave itself, again. And I would like to exclude Karen, Steve, and Mr. O'Brien, who weren't, Mr. O'Brien wasn't here, and Karen and Steve voted no, and I'm sorry I've neglected to say that the last few times I've spoken. But this governing board decided to give itself a raise, and when it did so, it made a public statement. And from that public statement, it went into a committee, at which time the public is given a chance to wages, say its opinion, and things are done, and actuary has taken place. And then it comes back to the board, and the public has a chance to speak on it. You gave yourselves an $800 raise, annual raise. After the fact that one person got up and talked about it, after that fact, when it went to a vote, it was then amended up by 50%, added another $400 on it. The excuse given was that we need to cover our taxes, which were $400. Well, I'm not that great with math, but I know 800 minus 400 covers those taxes. So I don't understand that reasoning there, but that was the reasoning given. I do, so what I was saying before is I understand the fact that the board, and I was told that this is it was a good amendment, but the board has the right to make amendments. When it comes to governing things, in order for a governing board to govern, it needs to make amendments to things. Things come up. And the fact that a committee has sometimes 3 members or 5 members, there's other insight into any situation, anything that comes up for a vote. But this had nothing to do with the governing board, with the operations, fit, form, or function of this board. It had to do with a raise. And there's no reason it couldn't have been put back in the committee and done right, so the people had the right to wage their opinion. There is no difference if you came back here and asked for $500 or $50,000. That is equally outrageous what you did, in my opinion.
30 seconds.
And I found it, as a board that represents, we have kids that come in here every month, and we are supposed to hold ourselves and to lead by an example of how, well, government shouldn't work. And that was an example of how it doesn't work. We've talked about being entrepreneurs and I don't think a person is paid by their costs. They're paid by what they do and their ability to do their job.
Time.
I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, next is Brian Tudent. Brian, I hope I didn't mispronounce your name.
No, that's okay. Brian Tuton.
Tuton.
First of all, thank you for hearing me tonight. My name is Brian Tuton. Again, I'm a training coordinator with Steam Fitters Local 601. You know, I am here in support of the STEM immersion program. One of my responsibilities for the local union that I represent is outreach and recruitment for apprenticeship. And one of the biggest areas that we fall short in all the time, and I do a lot of work with the high schools and grade schools and middle schools, is in those areas. And I think even going back to 1988 when I graduated high school from Mukwonago, don't shoot me, Mukwonago, you know, the technical and vocational programs started going away at that time. and we see that it's only getting worse from here. So this program, I think, needs to be embraced by this board. You know, I think you should take it in consideration. So just some statistics that we face right now in our particular trade. We have 170 apprentices in our program. We have 2,200 members, 1,800 active working members in our local union, 170 apprentices. Of those 170 apprentices, the average age of apprenticeship right now, the average age of the active apprentice is 31 years old. 31 years old. The average age of the applicant, the person who is looking to get into the apprenticeship program, the person who is actively seeking an opportunity for apprenticeship is 30 years old. We don't see that. Our youngest apprentice is 22, our oldest is 56, so we have a very broad range. But what we're looking for is to get into the schools. We need to get into the high schools no matter where we are. We cover 14 counties, Milwaukee, Madison area, Madison area, and Janesville area. That's what our local union covers. We need to get into these schools. I have worked with the Workforce Development Board of South Central Wisconsin. I do work with Building Advantage. I do work with the Madison Building Trades Council. We have efforts in all the schools to get in there and get our message out to all the educators that we need to do more recruitment within the schools. You know, we understand that four-year college degrees isn't for everybody. There is an alternative. There is another place for someone to go to get an education and to get a viable career and to get a very good career. Our apprentices also do get college credits. You know, we have a lot of apprentices that go through the program who eventually continue on using their college credits through
30 seconds.
apprenticeship to continue their education, you know, and to go on to get other things beyond their apprenticeship. So it is a very good program, and we would hope that this board and the school district would consider, you know, supporting teams' efforts, bridging that gap forward into the construction trades. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Vanacek?
Do we have any job fairs where these local businesses go to a school, let's say for a couple hours after school, and they're set up where the kids can go and ask, what's your business about? Where are you located? What do you do? What do I need to do that? Do we have something like that?
Well, there is a,
Yes, of course.
we do have, through WCTC, there's a career expo that our middle school kids go to and are exposed to just like 40 or 50 different careers on that site. I couldn't begin to tell you which ones are represented there, but I know there are, and I'll try and find it out for you. And then, I forgot the first name. Brian. He mentioned the Workforce Development Center, and they also do some work in career activities for middle and high school kids through John Pritchett. He's actually an employee of WCTC, but he's at the Workforce Development Center. So those are some of the things I'm aware of.
I'm appreciative of that. I think we do need to start in middle school so that these kids can be thinking of that. But what about in high school? Maybe they change their mind. Maybe they're juniors and they're trying to be thinking of the next step. I wonder if there's just
We'll be talking about
2
that
nights
a
a
little
year.
bit later.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
I think
don't
of in the
wanna talk out of turn.
lunchroom, there's always the recruiter there for our armed forces. But if there was a recruiter for, but I mean, we can't have.
Yeah.
We can probably do more, Karen.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to say that, in reference to your question, on April 29th at the Waukesha County Expo, there's a job fair that Building Advantage is putting on. So in case you weren't aware of that.
Thank you for that information. Okay, moving on then, we're going to get into minute approval. Thank you, Joe. We have minutes in your packet for approval are from the March 12th, 2014 regular board meeting and March 12th, 2014 executive session. Is there a motion, please? Could we have a motion to accept the minutes? Okay, it's been moved by Dr. Langell to approve the minutes as presented. Any discussion? Second? Second by Mr. Baumgart. Okay, Sue, would you take the roll, please?
Joseph Como,
Aye.
William Baumgart.
Aye.
Patrick McCaffrey.
Aye.
Karen Reinacek.
Aye.
Kurt O'Brien.
Aye.
Ellen Langell.
Aye.
Steve Edlin.
Aye.
Patricia Madden.
Aye.
Barbara Brezink.
Aye. Motion passes 9-0. Thank you, Sue. Okay, communications, Superintendent.
I have 3 letters this evening. The first one is from Dave Sternick, Commissioner of the Classic 8 Conference, and he's writing to congratulate Waukesha North High School on being named winter sportsmanship winner for boys and girls basketball. My second letter is also from Mr. Sternig, our commissioner, congratulating Waukesha West High School for winning the winter sportsmanship award in girls basketball. And my third letter is a letter from grandfather, Fred Anawenter, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right at all, but he is writing to tell us how well his grandson has done, being motivated by Allison Hickman, who's a music teacher at Banting, and wonderful teacher. In fact, Mary, the principal there, has said probably the best music teacher she's ever worked with. So, you know, sometimes you don't always know where you're going to get your motivation from in school, and I don't think any teacher can predict who they're going to motivate, but here's an opportunity. Mrs. Hickman has motivated this young man, and he's done very well in all his classes as a result. That's it.
What about the board meeting?
That's my report.
Okay. All right, thank you. Next, we're going to move into the Human Resources Committee presented by Steve Edlin. Mr. Edlin.
I think we have the Safety Committee.
Safety Committee.
I'm sorry, Mr. Baum.
I'm not going to let you get away with that.
That's okay. How did I miss that? Let's see. I turned the page, that's why. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Safety Committee, Mr. Baumgart.
Safety Committee report.
Always got a scoop.
We met this morning, reviewed and accepted the accident reports for students and staff. We had quite a discussion about the number of staff injuries resulting from student actions this month. 85% of the accidents reported this month were the result of some student activity against a teacher. And I believe, and I said that I would forward this, it may be time that we visit this issue a little bit more intensely as to what's happening and what we may be able to do to prevent some of this. 17 out of 20 cases this month were involved with children involved against a teacher. So,
Can I ask, was it at the elementary level, middle, or high?
predominantly elementary.
Interesting.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't have them with me.
So
but-
we have no SROs, so it's, yeah.
Well, true.
Well, and there's reasons the kids are there, and we're responsible for meeting the rights of those children, but we also have a responsibility to our teachers to provide a safe environment. And
So are you suggesting that perhaps some of these children have special needs?
yes,
Thank you.
but and I think, and I'm getting a nod from Jen, it's time we looked a little bit deeper into this.
I would agree.
So, additionally on accidents, there was more detailed information being presented regarding our middle school student accidents. This stems from several injuries in the recent month regarding the use of rollerblades. Excuse me, more analysis and discussion of this at the physical FIED level is going to follow. So we're not done with that one, but we have some issues we have to look at. New items, Hillcrest gave a presentation to us on replacing some of their playground equipment, which is typically what we do, bring it through the safety committee. They were given a few questions that needed to be answered for approval at the next meeting, which will be in May.
Thank you. Do you want to go right into
And I
your
will go right
charter
into the
school
charter
report,
school
Mr.
report,
Baumgart?
keeping it reasonably brief because I've been scolded so many times. The Engineering Academy and the Health Academy, they've held their board meetings at which they solidified the moving into a 501c3 status through the Waukesha Education Foundation, which is a subordinate to the Waukesha County Community Fund organizations. Anyway, our charter schools will be using that as a 50c3 rather than establishing their own 50c3 program, which makes it much easier, and it's being worked out. Engineering Academy approved it a week ago, and Health Academy is probably approving it about now, hopefully, the governance boards. Pending the board's approval, they will be able to accept donations, raise funds, pay their taxes, or report their taxes, and so on. Both schools are also currently looking at rewriting their current contracts. eAchieve continues to finalize its plan for an elementary pilot during the 2014-2015 school year. And additionally, the charter contract for eAchieve has been updated and is submitted to the district's legal counsel for review prior to asking the full board review at hopefully our May meeting. Another item, I'm going to give you a little bit of background on this because it comes out of the C&I conversation we had last week, where we made a request for research of the possibilities that the students that are in the eAchieve Academy have more opportunity to interact with others in collaboration and speaking with others and responsibility. Ellen brought this up, and I think it was a valid point. Hearing from Rick, there's recently been a celebration, and you heard part of it in the North High School report this evening. One of our full-time eAchieve students is a member of the North FBLA team that is moving now to national competition. North reported that Tyler Testman, he's a North student, and his eAchieve teammate, CJ Kahala, he's an eAchieve student, worked in collaboration on earning first place in the network design program. So we found already there's a little bit of that, but that's the kind of thing we can build on.
Great.
And that is all. The rest of the report for the academies, charter schools, et cetera, will be things I can include in your packet this coming week.
Thank you, Mr. Baumgart.
Can I just?
Yes.
As Bill said, I did raise that at CNI, and I know it doesn't come up tonight, but just real quickly, this was really more directed to, and I appreciate Rick's feedback, the proposal that we maybe want to get into an electronic academy online for elementary. So.
Okay, thank you, Ellen. Thank you, Mr. Baumgart. Okay, moving forward then, we'll get into the consent agenda. First, we'll cover public gifts. Lori will report on the gifts received. Lori Clifton.
Thank you. We have two gifts to report this evening. A 1990 Audi Quattro was donated to North High School by Brian Meyer with a value of $4,900.
Wow.
The gift will be used for drivability diagnosis. And don't ask me what that is.
Will the car go?
To give students the opportunity to work on a higher-end foreign vehicle. We also received a baby grand piano with an estimated value of $5,000 at South High School, donated by Carrie Nelson. It will be used for rehearsals in the choir room at South.
Okay, thank you. All right. Your agenda includes categories for approval. If any board member wishes to have an item set aside for separate consideration, please indicate thusly at this time. Okay. Steve Edlin will present the consent agenda for approval.
Thank you, Madam President. Before we get into the consent agenda, for anybody that has a copy of the Human Resources Committee meeting, there was a word changing on there that had an impact that I wish you to review if you could at this time. It was on item 3. It says new contract and contract modifications. It should have read renewed contracts and contract modifications, which has an impact on the list that was attached with all of your packet information this month.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Thank you. Thank Dr. Langell for bringing that to our attention. Appreciative. I give credit where credit's due. Come on now. Earlier this evening, the Human Resources Committee approved of 3 resignations along with one new contract and 2 contract modifications for the 2013-2014 school year and 1 new contract for the 2014-2015 school year. The information was provided in your packet and an addendum was placed on your desks. Additionally, included in the addendum is a request for board approval of the teacher contracts for the 2014-2015 school year, including renewals of 839 full-time contracts, 5 part-time contracts, 4 full-time partial leave contracts, 10 job share contracts, 5 contract reductions, and 15 contract renewals for administrative purposes. The non-renewals have to do with procedures for teachers holding that emergency license, 9 of them, as well as teachers that sign limited or temporary contracts, and 6 of those. The contract reductions are not due to budgets, rather the reductions are the result of enrollment and actual class signups. Mr. President, by a committee vote of 2 to 1, I move that the consent agenda be approved as amended.
Okay, is there a second, please? Second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Como. Okay, any discussion, questions, comments? Okay. Sue, would you call the roll?
Steve Edlin?
Aye.
Karen Reinacek?
Aye.
Joseph Como?
Aye.
Patrick McCaffrey?
Aye.
Patricia Madden?
Aye.
William Baumgart?
Aye.
Kurt O'Brien?
Aye.
Ellen Langell?
Aye.
Barbara Brezink?
Aye. Motion passes 9-0.
That concludes my report, Madam
Thank you,
President.
Mr. Edlin.
Thank you.
Okay, next is the superintendent's report. Todd Gray.
Great. First of all, I'd like to thank Fred Schradel, one of our fine industrial tech teachers, for designing and his students creating our new nameplates.
Yeah.
We have one more to go. We started before this process, so we'll have it for next time. So, sorry, Mr. O'Brien.
Are your feelings hurt, Mr. O'Brien?
I can't get bands, I can't get signs.
Welcome back.
Seniority. But in any event, no, we'll have it for next time. But they did a really nice job on these, and now they have whenever we need that change, we can
And
have our
for your
students do it.
information, I watched the F&F on Channel 13 and they show up real well on television. Mhm.
Okay. Next at your place is our latest brochure for our MAID program. You saw the brochures that we're using to recruit students. This is the brochure that we use to recruit businesses. And I'm glad there's businesses here that want to recruit us, because, we're trying to build this program, and building the program is going to require that we get students out in the field actually doing the work. And, now maybe we're gonna have to add some operating engineer type courses to go with it. So if you see a Caterpillar D8 in the budget, you'll know that that's taken off. But seriously, this was a collaboration between Amy Lang and myself and Pete Kennedy, who does these projects for us. We're looking at some other ones to do with our magnet schools as a means to recruit students for those. But I think this is a very nice start. It gives us a good opportunity to let the manufacturing businesses, the auto businesses, the design industry, let them know what we're doing, and gives us an opportunity to hopefully put some students out in the field for some real-life experience.
Did you receive a grant to
No,
put this together?
no,
Okay.
no. Each year I develop a communications budget, and I haven't really used it till this year, but now we've got some projects and some people that can put these things together, so we'll be doing more of these. And again, this goes back to when Brian White was here. He said, you kind of are hiding this great program. Well, we're not anymore.
true.
We're putting this out. These will go to companies throughout Waukesha County in hopes of being able to recruit some intern positions for these programs. I should also add, one of the big changes is that the design, the graphics. Graphics industry is relatively strong in this part of the state. And we do have we were able to steal a graphics IT teacher from Menominee Falls along with some of their equipment. We recently purchased some printing equipment for a few cents on the dollar from one of the Milwaukee schools. So that's going to be a nice program. We can do some of this printing in-house now with
Great.
students. So, again, some more real-life experience. We also received from the United Way. Again, we were a $25,000 campaign provider. This is, I think, the 4th or 5th year in a row that we've gotten this, but we were presented this today. Sue and I were again on behalf of the district. And again, I think it's good that we've maintained that position. Some of the impacts on employee salaries with Act 10 and so on, our employees are still providing benefits and donations to the United Way. WKCE scores came out.
Not?
And you probably saw some in the paper that a year-to-year comparison, this year to last year, we're a little flat or down in some areas. But if you look at our 3-year trend, we're up in many areas. Now, we still have a lot of work to do, especially in the area of reading. I think that's still going to be a strong goal for years to come. But we are seeing some very good progress in this area. And in CNI, you will see more breakdowns of the scores and where they're at and how our individual schools have done. So that will be coming over the next few months, Ryan? Okay. I just want to briefly touch on Common Core, because that still continues to be in the news. That continues to be the DPI set of standards. However, we do have some flexibility with that. And in January, I had a chance to talk with Tony Evers for quite a bit at the WASDA luncheon, and I asked him, I said, where, you know, tell us about the flexibility of this, and he says, you're good to go. The Common Core is basically a set of standards. The curriculum that goes with it and the instructional methods that go with it are 100% up to the administration and the Board of Education. Even some flexibility within the standards. If there's things that don't work for Waukesha, we have some flexibility to work around those. So I've said as long as I'm here, we're going to make sure that whatever comes for that we're going to make sure our students are competitive, that they're hitting the standards, but that any standards we put in place or any curriculum changes we put in place is going to be beneficial to the community and meet the needs of the community. And so I'm not quite as worried about it as some folks are. I think there are some good things from this, but we'll be continuing to monitor this. And you as a board will have every opportunity to weigh in on any changes to the curriculum as a result of addressing Common Core standards. Finally, board reorganization. I believe it was planned for 5 p.m. on the evening of our
Next board
CNI
meeting.
committee meeting,
Yes,
but
right.
I know of at least one conflict, so I don't know if that's still the time. So we may have to work around that. Tentatively, it's planned for 5 p.m. Before our next CNI meeting, but I don't know. Sue, you're saying no? Okay.
No.
So-
We had a couple.
Okay.
Okay, well,
All right. So Sue will have to continue calling.
we'll start over again
Um,
tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
well, sorry about that. I thought we were set to go on that, but
If I may,
apparently not.
If I may add, Mr. Gray, we tried to schedule it on a night where, you know, there was another committee meeting, so we don't have to have another meeting night, because we have so many meetings, but it just doesn't seem to be working out. We tried to get it for the, before the May meeting, and that didn't work out, and then we were looking at the May F&F meeting, that didn't work out, and then we went to the May CNI meeting, so if we can't work it out, then we'll just have to get together on another night. Mr. O'Brien?
Just in an effort to save time, is it a date issue or a time issue?
Time issue.
Time issue? It was a time issue? So why can't we just schedule it on that date at a later time, even if we have to adjourn CNI temporarily to?
There's another time issue.
Well, you could schedule it for, say, 5:45 and then schedule CNI for 6:15. That's only 15 minutes. We haven't
Okay,
had a chance
we
to
can do
discuss
that.
that, but that would work.
I don't care how
That
late
won't
we-
work, that won't work anyway?
Oh,
Okay.
because there's another one that has meeting at 6. So-
Okay.
So
Oh, okay.
there's too many conflicts that.
Okay,
There
well
was nothing
then,
you could do even at 9 o'clock or something like that? Not that night? Okay, fine.
okay, we'll start from ground level zero then, and Sue will be calling tomorrow, and Sue, you and I can maybe identify some dates and see the availability of people. Okay.
Okay, that's my report.
Okay, I would just like to add, I don't know if any of you received this invitation, but it was for the recognition ceremony at the Waukesha County Jail. And I go every year, but this year I'm going to be out of town, and they would like to have a representative from the board, so I don't know if anybody is able to go. Is there anyone interested in going, or? The date is May 1st, May 1st at 1 o'clock to 2:15, and it's such a wonderful thing. And this year especially, we have 3 students, right? And they said we have some competency diplomas also. So it's always a great feeling to see the success of these people there. So is anybody interested in going, let me know. And, but you have to reply by April the 12th, which is Saturday, because they have to do a clearance, otherwise you won't get in, okay? So if you're interested, let me know, and I'll give you the invitation. It's a wonderful afternoon. I'm sorry to miss it. Okay, moving on then. Now, we're at the part of our meeting where we're having board reports. So the first board report is the Human Resources Committee presented by Mr. Edlund.
I'll make it short, I have no report.
Okay. Next is the Policy Committee presented by Patricia Madden.
Very short, neither do I. But we will be meeting this month.
Do we have a date set?
We do, I can't remember what it was.
Okay.
We'll
Okay,
get it
it'll
out.
be in the
I think
packet.
it's
15th at 6 o'clock.
13th? Okay, yeah.
15th.
15th, okay.
15th of May or April? April? Technology Committee, Patrick McCaffrey.
Thank you, Mrs. Brezink. We did not have a meeting in March, however, Steve Schulman put a update in your packets.
Yes, yes.
So if there are any questions, I'd be more than happy.
I
to
do have a
answer them
question.
right now.
It was my understanding there was going to be some training if board members wanted to participate. Do you know if that's still a go or?
For
just-
the iPad?
Yeah, for the iPad.
Yeah, you can, yeah, there's, whenever you want the training, all you have to do.
Oh,
is
it's one-on-one
contact Steve.
training,
Yeah, it'll
okay.
be one-on-one training at the,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, well,
Yes. So, yeah, just call Steve and then,
Okay.
he can definitely set something up.
Okay. Mr. Baumgart.
And Barbara, this may be also answering your question. There was also in that handout in there, there's something
Yes.
tomorrow.
Yeah, I did see that.
I emailed him about that, and it looks like it's more focused on using it in the Waukesha One capacity.
I
as
saw that.
opposed to
Right,
us
I
learning
saw
how to
that.
use it, so.
Yeah, I don't think
Right.
that's,
But you're welcome to go to that,
Right.
too, yeah.
I don't think that's what you're gonna be looking
No,
at.
no, no. I've been really lucky. I've had some people, two people that are,
Yeah.
two teachers, not from our district, but that are real techno savvy, and it's easy to pick up. Okay, that's it, Mr.
Any-
McCaffrey?
Yeah, any other questions or? No? That concludes my report.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, F and F, we always have a report from you.
Thank you, Madam President.
Mr. Como.
This evening, we have 3 action items and 2 information items. The first action item is the approval of employee benefits brokers consultant agreement. The district has been working with Willis of Wisconsin since 2009 as an employee benefits consultant. Willis was notified in January 2014 that we would be requesting proposals from other providers. As a district, we have been evaluating services for all major contracts as they come due. It is not a reflection on the services we've been receiving, but a way to regularly monitor the services that are available to us and providing assurance that we are getting the expertise needed for a competitive price. The committee received the results of the RFP process for an employee benefits broker consultant. There were 6 bidders who responded to the RFP, with 3 finalists being interviewed and evaluated by a review team of 6. An evaluation matrix was used to rate each agency objectively. This is the same process that's been used for other contracts, such as the food service contractor and the transportation provider. The review team recommended Beneco of Wisconsin Incorporated. Beneco is a local company specializing in employee benefits with expertise in self-funded insurance plans, Affordable Care Act compliance, and the implementation of wellness initiatives. The Finance and Facilities Committee approved the 3-year employee benefits broker consultant agreement with Beneco to commence April 15th, 2014, and I so move.
Okay, is there a second, please?
Second.
Second by Mr. McCaffrey. Any questions, discussion? Okay, Mr. O'Brien.
Just real quick, I mean, one of the drivers for this is we had nice discussions on this, quite long discussion at the committee, dealing with the greater capability they appear to have in dealing with our Affordable Care Act cost, and the legal counsel that's more local. And in both cases, this and the next one, which I won't speak to, and save some time, it's not that we're changing from prior providers that weren't excellent providers. They were excellent providers. It's just that it's always good to take an opportunity to go in a new direction, especially when there's some additional skills that are of value to the administration, which they made clear during the committee.
Okay, anyone else? Mr. Como.
Yeah, one of the points that was brought up at the committee meeting that was really important to us is the planning aspect of this. We want to make sure that we have a plan created first and that we execute the plan and that we're not just kind of piecemealing things. So one of those strengths that Beneco brings to the table was in that planning portion. And that's something that I think this committee is going to be taking a close look at to make sure that we head in that direction. So that was talked about quite a bit on Monday.
Okay. Was there a second to that motion that Mr.
Yes.
Oh, Mr. McCaffrey, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else on,
I just had a quick question, and maybe I missed it, Mr. Como. This is a contract for how long?
3 years.
Okay. I didn't see it there. Okay.
But there is an out clause that,
Okay.
I believe it's a 90-day out clause, that if for any reason we don't feel comfortable with them, that we can execute that clause. And I think that it's a reciprocal clause too. They can also request the same.
Okay, anything else? All right, Sue, would you call the roll? It's an
Kurt
action
O'Brien.
item.
Aye.
Patrick McCaffrey.
Aye.
Steve Edlin.
Aye.
Ellen Langell.
Aye.
William Baumgart.
Aye.
Patricia Madden.
Aye.
Joseph Como.
Aye.
Karen Reinacek.
Aye.
Barbara Brusink.
Aye, motion passes 9-0. Mr. Como.
Thank you, Madam President. The second action item tonight is the approval of the district audit firm effective with the 2013-2014 school year audit. The district has worked with Clifton Larson Allen, formerly known as Clifton Gunnarsson, for the last 8 years since the 2005-2006 school year. The last contract was for 5 years and expired with the 2012-2013 audit. A request for proposals was issued following the same process described for the broker consultant agreement. The evaluation team received 6 proposals for district financial and membership audits. Based on the evaluation process, Schenck SC is recommended. Schenck is a Wisconsin CPA firm with 8 locations in Wisconsin, including Milwaukee. Their government and nonprofit team has experience with larger school districts, virtual schools, and our OPEB litigation. All references were very positive. The Finance and Facilities Committee approved the 3-year audit contract with Schenck SC. The contract covers fiscal years 2013, 2014 through 2015, 2016, and I so move.
Okay, is there a second, please? Second? Second by Mr. Edlin. Discussion, questions? Mr. Como?
Just to echo what Mr. O'Brien had mentioned, this change isn't due to performance issues also for this particular vendor. And really, it's having a new set of eyes. Our auditors are the ones that we depend on as a board to make sure that we're fiscally sound and we're operating in a proper manner. And we lean heavily on those reports and their determinations for suggestions, for improvements. And we just needed a new set of fresh eyes taking a look at us.
Okay. Sue, would you call the roll?
Ellen Langell.
Aye.
Patricia Madden.
Aye.
Joseph Como.
Aye.
Kurt O'Brien.
Aye.
Karen Reinacek.
Aye.
Steve Edlin.
Aye.
William Baumgart.
Aye.
Patrick McCaffrey.
Aye.
And Barbara Brusink.
Aye, motion passes 9-0. Mr. Como?
The third action item tonight is the approval of the 2014-2015 student fees. Per board policy, student fees are reviewed annually by the Finance and Facilities Committee and the Board of Education before June of each school year. In accordance with Section 205 of the Child Nutrition Reauthorization Healthy, Hunger-Free Kids Act of 2010, schools are required to charge students for paid meals at a price that is on average at least equal to the difference between the free reimbursement, $2.99, and the paid meal reimbursement, $2.65. Schools that currently charge less than that price are required to gradually increase their prices over time until they meet the requirement. The Act also establishes a maximum increase of 10 cents annually, though a higher increase could be elected at the board's discretion. Federal funding increased by 7 cents this year for the free lunch reimbursement and by 1 cent for the full price meals, which caused our required regular meal prices target to rise from $2.59 up to $2.65. Qualifying breakfasts are federally reimbursed at the rate of $1.58 per eligible free meal, $1.28 per eligible reduced meal, and 28 cents per full priced meal. The average full-price breakfast for students should be at least $1.30 to meet the Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act requirements. The district is in compliance, so no rate increase is needed there. In order to prevent subsidizing the adult meals, breakfast prices should be at least the value of all federal subsidies plus state aid per qualifying meal, which totals $1.68. Adult lunch prices should be at least $3.23. Currently, adult elementary breakfasts are $1.50 and adult lunches are $2.90. The Finance and Facilities Committee approved the increase of the food service meal prices by 5 cents for elementary lunches and secondary lunches, and an increase to adult elementary breakfast prices to $1.70 and adult lunch prices to $3.25 to comply with the Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act. No other changes in fees were recommended, and I so move.
Okay, is there a second, please? Second. Okay, any discussion, questions? Ms. Ranchek?
Thank you. Joe, what happens if someone doesn't pay their school fees?
Well, we
happens a
do
lot.
try to collect several times throughout the year. I don't know what happens if we don't collect, though. I think we should probably ask Laura that question.
If a party becomes delinquent and they either have refused to do an installment plan, which is what we always offer, or are not interested in occasion, we do a partial waiver. So if they're not actively working on some kind of solution, then they become delinquent, and we do turn them over for collections.
Thank you.
Lori, on the same subject, are there, I would assume that there are times we are not able to collect
Oh, most
for
certainly.
obvious reasons.
Yes.
Okay. But that doesn't mean that the student cannot come into the school the next year.
Oh,
Right.
no.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Just wanted to say that was very important, that we don't turn people away for that. All right, thank you, Lori. All right, any other questions? Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the 2014-2015 student fees.
Yes.
Sue, would you call the roll?
Karen Reinacek.
Aye.
Ellen Langell.
Aye.
Patricia Madden.
Aye.
William Baumgart.
Aye.
Joseph Como.
Aye.
Kurt O'Brien.
Aye.
Patrick McCaffrey.
Aye.
Steve Edlin.
Aye.
Barbara Brusink.
Aye, motion passes 9-0. Your information items, Mr. Coleman?
Yes, the first one is the monthly budget report for March of 2014. The committee received the monthly budget report for activity through March 2014. $14,788,994 was reported in general fund revenue. $10,659,333 was expended during the month. $1,482,851 was reported in special education revenue, and $2,758,335 was expended. The district is operating in accordance with our budget projection, and 74% of the taxes levied have been collected to date.
Great.
Our last item for the evening is the 2014-2015 financial projection. This is Lori's crystal ball, for short. Included in our packet is a revenue projection for 2014-2015 for the general and special education funds. Overall, the general and special education funds available projected revenue excluding grants for 2014-2015 is anticipated to be $146,984,000. And expenses, also net of total grants, is $151,360,000 when considering all requests for additional services, projects, and staffing increases. The project deficit of $4,376,000 would result, and administration is meeting regularly to finalize the assumptions and will present a budget for our review in June. And that concludes my report, Madam President.
Thank you. Mr. Edlin?
I would like to take this moment to highlight and throw kudos at the business office. One of the areas of interest to the committee was in purchase services, and thus far, our transportation cost fuel savings has totaled $787,000 year to date. So
Wow.
we'll be higher than that by the end of the school year.
Yes.
Add to that efficiencies in routing and other areas on, this turned out to be a win-win for everybody.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. Curriculum and instruction, Dr. Langell, will you report, please?
I would be happy to for our chair, Ms. Brezink. On April Fool's last week, our CNI committee met at 6 o'clock, and we have one action item, which is approval of a new AP Human Geography textbook. And this passed 5-0. But as you notice, the motion, which I will make in a minute, this will be an e-text. And so there was some discussion about that, and also a promise from the publisher they would follow up in terms of its compatibility with our iPads and longevity and evaluation issues going forward. So with that, kind of caveat, I guess, the curriculum committee voted 5-0 to approve this adoption of the AP Human Geography e-text, and we now request board approval, and so I move in favor.
Okay, second, Mr. Baumgart. Any questions, comments? Okay, there's an action item. Sue, would you call the roll, please?
Patricia Madden.
Aye.
Joseph Como.
Aye.
William Baumgart.
Aye.
Steve Edlin.
Aye.
Patrick McCaffrey.
Aye.
Karen Reinacek.
Aye.
Ellen Langell.
Aye.
Kurt O'Brien.
Aye.
Barbara Brusink.
Aye. Motion passes 9-0. Ellen?
Just two other real quick things. We are hearing from our counseling staff as to how they're trying to deal with our students who need help and students who need counseling. And I think that will be ongoing as something that we're monitoring. And also Assistant Superintendent Ryan Crone continued the conversation just to update us on the conversion possibilities of starting and ending times, with instructional minutes being a matter of consideration, elementary and middle and secondary level, of course, bus schedules, et cetera. Principals are now in the process of surveying parents and getting feedback, because we want to make sure that we do not ambush anybody on this, that it's all above board and out there. So we are gathering, or he is, feedback, and he'll keep us apprised, and we will also keep you apprised. And that concludes my report, Madam President.
Thank
We meet again on May 6th.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Langell.
Sure.
Okay, looks like that brings us to the end of our reports. We have no other business. Yes, Dr. Langell.
Okay, I just have a question, and so tell me if I mean, the night of the election, and by the way, congratulations to everyone who won. And we were all, waiting with bated breath.
Yeah,
But
right.
I got up on the internet, so of course I knew, obviously we all knew you were going to win anyway. So that was fine. But then, I don't know how many of you get the Freeman. I do. Just
I do.
because. Was it ever in there?
No,
I
it
could
wasn't.
never find it.
It was not.
And yet they had Arrowhead, and
Yeah,
they
they
had
did.
all these other schools.
But that's because there were other candidates.
Well, no, there were
No?
some uncontested
Oh, there were.
school board
Yeah, it was
results
interesting.
from other districts.
Okay,
And I
I-
just think it might be nice to drop a little friendly note to our friendly Freeman and say, excuse me, why couldn't you report on the Waukesha School Board? I
agree.
mean, we knew everybody would be elected, but there were uncontested races that were also covered from other districts. And I just thought, what is this? They didn't even put Waukesha in.
Yeah, it wasn't just the Freeman. It was several.
Yeah.
Fennel,
of the-
too.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And it wasn't on,
So I don't-
that strip that runs, yeah.
Yeah.
I do,
Sue told me.
I do think congratulations are in order. Congratulations, Karen, first place, and unless the canvas changed things. So,
Thank you. I just learned that from Sue yesterday. So.
So duly elected are Karen Reinacek, myself, and Mr. Como. Okay, anything else for the good of the cause? Okay, we have no other business this evening. We are not going to have a need to adjourn to executive session, is that correct?
Not that I'm
Okay,
aware of.
so the meeting is adjourned. Thank you all very much for your participation and attendance this evening.